Again, I have the pleasure and the honor of welcoming you to this glorious historic event in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. I lived here for 21 years. Our board members have been with Ms. Clayton for many years and supported all of her projects. And I'm not sure if you know, but today the United Nations has chosen March the 8th as the International Women's Day, where the world recognizes and celebrates the contributions of women who have and continue to fight for equality and equity. Today, we are excited to support and honor our civil rights icon, foot soldier of justice, who has been marching all of her life. Ms. Xernona Clayton is a woman on a mission. She has intelligence, grace, beauty, humility, and a lot of God-given gifts. Ms. Clayton today will make history. She is the first woman, let me repeat that again, the first woman and the first woman of color to have a statue in the heart of downtown Atlanta, Georgia, the seat of the civil rights movement. We salute you, Ms. Clayton, and we honor you today. We also want to thank some of our youth. If you know Ms. Clayton, you know that she's always involved in the mission of helping to mentor youth. Today, we have students who have been working with us on the fundraising to make this event happen. I would like to welcome them to the front. They are the youth cabinet of the Hank Stewart Foundation, if they would come to the front. The president, Soraya Corrigay, will join me on stage. These are hardworking students who have been supporting Ms. Clayton for the last year and a half. At this time, the president, Soraya, has a few words.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I'm Soraya Corrigay, president of the Stewart Foundation Youth Cabinet, my incredible cabinet right here. We are indeed honored to be a part of this historical moment to celebrate the accomplishments of Ms. Xernona Clayton. She is a beacon of light that has blazed the trail for each of us to become our best possible selves. We understand Mrs. Clayton has a desire to build a row of homes for those who do not have homes here in the city of Atlanta. According to 1 John 3:17, if anyone has material possessions and sees his brother in need but has no pity on him, how can the love of God be in him? Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. As youth leaders, we are firm believers that we must do our part. Therefore, we offer to you, Ms. Clayton, our contributions from our Change for Change campaign to make that dream a reality. God has charged us all to care for those that are homeless. And as we give our change today, for change, we ask that you too give yours as well. We love and admire you, Ms. Clayton. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this moment with you.
Thank you, and we thank the Stewart Foundation as the students present their piggy banks to Xernona Clayton. Can we put them over there? Put them over there by her. Take them over there. As you can see, no change is too small to support Xernona Clayton and all of her missions. Thank you, students. You are our future. Let's give them a hand. We have a bright future. Thank you, students. As we continue our program, I just have a few more items and then I'll turn it over to our MC, our two MCs. We have a letter from Senator Raphael Warnock, and it is addressed to Ms. Clayton. I'll briefly read it. It says, Xernona, Queen Mother, as I come to call you, congratulations as the City of Atlanta commemorates your life of incredible work. Your impact on the City of Atlanta and our nation is so vast, spanning decades. Even through difficult occupations, all of your work has been anchored by the same central goal. You have worked hard to leave us all better off and to build what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community. And I work to emulate the model as a voice of Georgians in the Senate of the United States of America. You are a bright light of hope, perseverance, and possibility, and every single day, you are among those who inspire me to keep pushing. Every blessing, Reverend Raphael Warnock, United States Senator. And then briefly, we also have a proclamation, which I will not read all of that has been sent to Mrs. Clayton from Congresswoman Nikema Williams. And just briefly, Mrs. Clayton, it gives your bio in the proclamation, and I'll just read the last part. Ms. Clayton has received numerous awards for her activism throughout her dedicated career to civil rights and service to mankind. Many of these organizations salute you today. Your legacy is celebrated by the Atlanta Chamber of the Black Journalists, among others, where they have established a scholarship in your honor. You were appointed to the State Motion Pictures and Televisions Commission by President Jimmy Carter, and a member of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. We could go on and on, Ms. Clayton, but I will let you read the proclamation in private. So it is hereby declared, I, Nikema Williams, member of the U.S. House of Representatives, hereby issue this congressional proclamation in recognition of Xernona Clayton, in witness of, set in my hand, and caused the seal of the United States of the House of Representatives to be affixed on the 23rd of February 2023, Congresswoman Nikema Williams. Congratulations, Ms. Clayton. And now it is my pleasure to bring two MCs who are well known to people not only in the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, but throughout the nation. First, I would like to welcome Karen Greer to the podium. She is an evening anchor on WSB TV, and Fred Blankenship, who calls him one of the million boyfriends of Xernona Clayton. He is the morning anchor on WSB TV stage. And for all you other boyfriends, you get jealous today because Fred is up here. For more than 30 years, Karen Greer has served as an investigative reporter, anchor, and benefactor to many charitable causes. And Fred Blankenship, along with being one of the million boyfriends, for over a decade has been waking up Georgians around the state. You may view Karen and Fred on WSB TV, Channel 2 Action News. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure from the board of the Xernona Clayton Foundation to jumpstart the program today. God bless you and thank you.
All right.
Oh, Karen.
You're not even sleepy at this point of the day.
No, ready. Are we ready to celebrate? Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you. Welcome to the unveiling of the Xernona Clayton statue. Before we begin, Karen, before we honor this amazing woman, let me tell you, I have two amazing feats in my career. You heard one. One was about it on the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. I had the wonderful privilege of accompanying Congressman John Lewis across that bridge. Number two, I'm an honorary boyfriend. And I tell anybody who will listen to this, I'm an honorary boyfriend of the one and only Xernona Clayton. Oh.
He says that proudly.
Oh no, I tell anybody who will listen, love you more than life, my amazing friend.
She's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And we are so excited to help kick this off. That statue is going to be something very special for the city of Atlanta, a first.
Yes.
Hard to believe.
And mighty, just like this woman right here. Like you, like all of us, we are elated to be inspired to be here by the life and legacy of this formidable woman, Miss Xernona Clayton, who has worked her faith, love, hope, and determination for equality to all, regardless of race or socioeconomic status. To anybody who would listen or anyone who needed help, you have always been there. We can't tell you how much we appreciate that at all. Ms. Clayton has made it her life's passion to help individuals, families, communities, not only in Atlanta, but also across this great land of ours, across the nation.
And we know all of you here would love to say some wonderful words on her behalf.
Yes.
You'd love to come up and talk about how much she means to you, but we only are going to allow a few guests to do just that today. So keep that with you. Remember, it is very important that we move this program along. I don't know where that sun went, but it ran from us this morning.
It'll dip back in a second. We'll come back.
So we're going to follow the order of the program very strictly. Speakers have been asked to limit their remarks to 2 to 3 minutes each, respectively. If not, Fred will come up and get you.
Politely, of course.
So we are going to begin with someone who really doesn't need an introduction, who is a big part of why we are here in the city of Atlanta, why it's so important for the statue to be on this ground. The mayor of the wonderful city of Atlanta, please join me in welcoming Mayor Andre Dickens.
All right, Fred, I thought it was just a couple of us boyfriends, and then here you go. I had to look at it, I felt cheated on. Fred, too? You know, when I'm walking around the streets of Atlanta, sometimes people be like, I know you, you're the I said, I'm Fred Blankenship. So you see you on TV, you might as well be Fred Blankenship. It's good to be here this morning. This is one of those pretty Atlanta days. It's pretty whether it's cold or whether it's hot outside. I didn't anticipate it being this brisk, but it's pretty nonstop, kind of like Xernona Clayton. Pretty no matter what weather is outside. It's good to join you. It's such an honor to stand here before each and every last one of you. It's several mayors that are here right now. We have Ambassador Andrew Young, Bill Campbell, and I imagine there might be others that I haven't seen, and there's a lot of council members that are here that were instrumental in this. I see several of them are in the audience, Overstreet, Bond, Westmoreland, and others, and also Department of Parks and Recreation that helped to get this done, and Cultural Affairs as well. Ms. Xernona Clayton, you have had a front row seat to a good deal of Atlanta's history, mainly because you had a hand in a lot of Atlanta's history. And you are so very worthy of every tribute and every honor that we can provide to you. Any honor that comes your way, you are deserving of it. You may be small in size, but you are big and huge in heart. I remember when, after we did the honoring, I got to lead the committee to honor John Lewis. And shortly thereafter, individuals called me and said, we want to honor Xernona Clayton. And I was like, I'm absolutely all in. Rick Baker and Mariella and Naima and so many others, April, were all saying, let's honor her with a statue. And they called me as a city council member to get on board. And we started working and making phone calls and getting folks involved, start raising money. Who knew it was a lot to kind of create a committee and to start all this stuff? That was about 4 or 5 years ago. And a lot of you guys, we all stayed the course, and here we are today. Ms. Clayton is also only the second woman honored with a street and plaza designation here in Atlanta. This will be the second woman to have that, and the first black woman with a statue in downtown Atlanta. the first black woman with a statue in downtown Atlanta. So congratulations to you, Ms. Xernona Clayton, on this statue unveiling. So many of us leaders in this city look up to you and honor you today. I see D.A. Fonnie Willis and so many others that are here because you paved the way. CEO Thurman, I see DeKalb County, Fulton County, I just see people, leaders that are here. You've done so much, not just for Atlanta, but for humanity altogether, and we are so grateful for it. And I'm honored to be here today to stand with you in this unveiling, and I'm still honored to be a boyfriend, even though Fred is the one that's going to be up here the longest with you. I'm standing next to you when we do the unveiling, not Fred, though. God bless you.
And let me give you the rest of the order. It will be Bishop Neil C. Ellis, Pastor Emeritus of Mount Tabor Baptist Church in Nassau, Bahamas, and Reverend Dr. Frederick Haynes III, Senior Pastor of the Friendship West Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas.
Next we have the Honorable Ambassador Andrew Young. Now, in driving here today, as we're here for the unveiling of this wonderful statue, I couldn't help but notice another statue with arms wide, welcoming you to this beautiful city of Atlanta, this great state of Georgia, and what he has done for this beautiful area. The first African-American ambassador appointed by President Jimmy Carter. I can go on and on and on and down the list, but I can just say we are blessed to have this man here today speaking about this wonderful woman. Welcome, please, Ambassador Andrew Young.
Thank you very much. I'm not one of the boyfriends. I was here before any of them were born. But I remember Martin Luther King going away to his birthday, and Xernona Clayton put together a surprise party in the basement of Ebenezer Baptist Church, and we sent him on his way. That was sort of the beginning of the trip that took him around with the Poor People's Campaign, and we were trying to find a way to get the civil rights movement out of the streets and basically into politics. And when we had a meeting in New York, he was supposed to go to Washington. And instead he said, no, I'm going back to Memphis. And he went back to Memphis not to carry on the Poor People's Campaign. I think most of us knew that he realized that he had done more for this nation and the world than anybody could have imagined in 39 years. But the last meeting I was with him before he took off to Memphis from New York, he said, don't forget, we've got to shift the movement into politics. And we shouldn't have to march and demonstrate every time there's a problem. We should have representatives that we can sit down with and discuss issues, and we can work out problems. And we can develop the South into the great economic engine, cultural engine, spiritual engine that this nation needs. Xernona came here in 1961 when none of this, there was nothing here. Look around, none of this was here. The tallest building later became across the street, the Hyatt, with the blue light on top. And this city has been reborn by the energy and the spirit that came out of the civil rights movement. When people say, what happened to the civil rights movement after Dr. King transitioned to glory, said, we developed a loving kingdom here in the city of Atlanta that reached out to all the world to let us know that it's possible for us not only to be a city too busy to hate, but a state, a nation, and a place where peace can dwell on earth, where the hungry can be fed, the naked can be clothed, and where we can develop educational systems that'll let us all evolve into the children of God that we're intended to be. Xernona Clayton was one of the first that stood with Martin Luther King down on Auburn Avenue. And she nursed the King children. She played the piano and organ at Antioch Baptist Church. She just walked in the church. The piano player wasn't there, and was sick. And Cameron Alexander said, "Is there anybody here who can play a piano?" And she volunteered. She went up, and I think she said she stayed almost 16 months. But she has been here, the spiritual loving base of Martin Luther King's expression of the kingdom of God here on earth. So we thank you, Xernona. We love you. And none of this could have been done. And they're going to talk about what you did with Ted Turner and all the rest. I'm through. I'm thankful for you. And we ain't going to tell nobody about us.
See, I thought he was not an honorary boyfriend.
Ain't nothing honorary about
There are times when you know you should not even attempt to follow the previous speaker. Now, with the authority that is vested in me by myself, I proclaim that I am the #1 boyfriend of Xernona Clayton. I also want to emphasize that I served for 8 years for President Lyndon Johnson, both in the White House and in Texas. I later had the opportunity to serve as the CEO of CNN, working with Xernona and with Ted Turner. If there is, in fact, one person missing today that so would like to be here with you, it's Ted, who has been having some health problems, and I am having lunch with him following this, and I will certainly convey the sentiment of all of you in this room and the sentiment of the speakers here. There were many accomplishments that Ted and Xernona achieved together. First, Ted, as well as myself, could never find a way to say no to Xernona. And when she had this vision of recognizing and celebrating the achievements of Black Americans, she had felt that much, much more needed to be done than just what was achieved with the Academy Awards and other awards. So she went to Ted. I will not describe the budget that was required, but she was able to get it. And that set of awards and the annual Trumpet Awards became, in many ways, the Atlanta version and more of the Academy Awards, recognizing excellence among the blacks and well beyond in America, and bringing to Atlanta so many who have almost found their way into the music community and the entertainment community that we have today, in so many ways eclipsed Los Angeles and others. So Xernona, on behalf of Ted Turner, I send his love, his respect, his affection to you. You know where he stands with you, and he would be here today if he could be, but he's here in spirit. It isn't how we die, it's how we live. It isn't what we take from life, it's what we give. And Xernona Clayton, in every role, going back to the years with Dr. King and Andy Youngs and others, through the generations, and especially the role model that she has been for young Americans. She has been a great champion of this city, of the state, and a symbol throughout the world of what can be achieved if you just simply devote yourself to working for others, which she's done. So I join with you today in the biggest salute that I can imagine or could think of, and that is to Xernona. I thank all of you for being here, and I will say I'm speaking, I think, not only for Ted Turner, but I speak in many ways for President Lyndon Johnson. He, along with Dr. King, Andy Young, Xernona, fought so hard to achieve the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act of those years. It was by far his greatest accomplishment, and I think I can speak for him from the great LBJ Ranch in the Sky in thanking Xernona for her role in carrying forward so much of what he dreamed of for this nation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for those great words right there. All right. Ambassador Young is very smart. He's finding the sunshine right now. And as you can tell, if each speaker, their boldness becomes.
This reminds me of an old blues song with all these boyfriends. I got some outside help I don't really need. So, and I noticed something, Mayor Dickens and Fred and the bishop and the pastor, they are all young, dark, tall, and handsome. And I'm sitting over there thinking, Mike, you just dark. So I love you though, Miss Clayton. I love you so much. And thank you for being the phenomenal woman that you are. Thank you for being a counselor and inspiration. When I watch the newsreels, when you're there with Dr. King and Andrew Young, when you're in the midst of this movement that made me possible, and for you to take time to counsel, not just on the good days, but you're the person who calls me on my bad days, when the votes don't come in. I love you so much. This statue is well deserved, but know this, your legacy will expand far beyond this beautiful statue. You have changed lives, you changed this city, you changed this state, you have changed this nation. And thank you for being a woman who is not afraid to speak truth to power, no matter where that power might reside. God bless you and thank you. And Andre, anyway, we'll talk.
I tell you what. Man, all these boyfriends. I love it. All right, thank you, Ambassador Young, Mr. Johnson, Dr. Bennett, CEO Thurman, for sure. We are so excited that we are going to move the program along with a nice celebratory selection from Abi Koya, who looks absolutely fabulous. Let's give her a big round of applause as she makes her way to the stage.
Love you, love you, love you, love you.
Absolutely beautiful. Give her another big round of applause.
My sisters, my brothers, my siblings all, good day. Now I hope you're ready for this. I am Xernona Clayton's girlfriend. It feels so good to be in Atlanta. I think there's truth. No, I know there is truth. We have assembled to pay tribute to my girlfriend, to my sister friend. Today is International Women's Day. The day went around the world. Everyone should acknowledge the truth in this saying of the Sioux Nation, the indigenous people of the Great Plains of the United States of America. The saying is, women hold up half of the sky. As I searched for one word that would describe Xernona Clayton, this is the word: shero. She is my shero because certainly of her exceptional accomplishments. Certainly because she is a media maven. But let me tell you, this is why, for me, Xernona Clayton is a shero. Because she is a woman who exemplifies the African proverb that says, when women lead, streams run uphill. Sister friend, you are my shero because you lead with 3 C's. Courage to always do what is right. Conviction to stay in the struggle for civil rights and women's rights and human rights. And creativity. Oh, your creativity is exemplified, of course, by the founding of the Trumpet Awards. But your creativity is exemplified in everything that you do and in every way that you are. And yes, Xernona Clayton is my shero because of her genuine humility and her amazing grace. Sister friend, Xernona, my husband James Staten and I just feel so privileged to have come from where we live in Florida to say this. We love you like the devil loves sin. That's a lot of love.
It is not by surprise or by accident that the sun came out as she was giving those words. Thank you, Dr. Cole, appreciate you. And when women lead, the water goes where? Upstream. Taking that with me all the way. Thank you. Now we have the Honorable Calvin Smyrie, affectionately known as the Dean, the longest serving member of the Georgia Legislature.
Good morning. Well, you guessed it. I don't even know if I have to say it. But another boyfriend is speaking to you. But the only one from South Georgia, Columbus, Georgia. But it is such a joy and such a delight to have gotten that call for you to be here today. It just means so much to me, Xernona. It's my honor and privilege and pleasure to be standing before you today as we unveil a statue for a remarkable, fearless woman, Xernona Clayton, a longtime friend and a warrior for so many causes. She is so deserving of this honor today. Over the years, I have watched her use her persuasive power to create change in our community, state, and nation. A civil rights leader, broadcasting executive, innovator, creator, and a person that has done so much to lift up so many, a mentor to many. As a young legislator some 40 years ago, I met her and we became friends, and I was inspired by that visit on that day, and I'm still inspired with her on this day. We have worked together on many, many projects, but the one that I just want to mention today briefly is
that when I was asked to chair the Martin Luther King Jr. commemorative statue for the state capitol in the state of Georgia, you were my anchor. You helped me so much during that difficult time of going through the maze of creating a statue for Dr. Martin Luther King on the state capitol grounds. Give her a round of applause for that right there. It's often stated that you make your living by what you get, but you make your life by what you give. You make your living by what you get, but you make your life by what you give. Xernona Clayton has made her life by giving. And for that, we ought to thank God that she passed our way. Congratulations. Let's hear it for Xernona Clayton. You're the most deserving of this statue. Thank you, and God bless you.
Tell you what, from South Georgia to Dallas to Ghana, the competition is fierce around here today. That's okay. Next, we have the amazing Derek Morrow, Area Vice President and General Manager at Hyatt Regency Atlanta.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Such a great day, isn't it? So, I'm still working on getting on that list. So, bear with me as I try to impress. So, I'm so honored to be here today to dedicate this enduring tribute to Miss Xernona Clayton, one of my favorite people and one of the most impactful civil rights leaders in our community has ever produced. Ms. Clayton's history with our hotel goes back more than 50 years. She was with Dr. Martin Luther King when they were pushed out of other hotels. He was speaking with her when he looked up at our building and he said, "Xernona, maybe this will be our hotel of hope." I am proud to say that our hotel welcomed Dr. King and Ms. Clayton back then. His last major civil rights meeting with Ms. Clayton was organized, was the second event ever held at the Hyatt. And because, thank you. And because of Ms. Clayton's support and guidance, we have worked hard to live up to Dr. King's expectation to be the hotel of hope in our community. There's also a story that she put a raincoat over Aretha Franklin's head and smuggled her through the hotel, but we'll save that for another day. In the hotel business, we have a lot of stories, so I'll be available afterwards to talk through some of those stories. In all seriousness, there's no one more deserving of a permanent recognition here in the heart of Atlanta than Miss Clayton. She sang happy birthday to Dr. King on his last birthday and helped Coretta Scott King make sure that we all celebrate that day every year. She was a force on TV when TV didn't look like me or many of folks watching. Her tenacity helped integrate Atlanta hospitals. Her kindness brought Klansmen back from darkness. Her shrewd intellect helped build a global news network that we're still watching today. And I understand she even found John Lewis a wife. I'm thrilled this beautiful statue will be a landmark on Peachtree Street, right next to our hotel. I'll be able to look out from my office and see the statue. For years to come, Ms. Clayton will continue to inspire us and remind us to get up early, get involved, get things done, and in the words of John Lewis, be kind to everyone, love everybody, speak up and speak out. Thank you, Ms. Clayton, for all you've done for me personally and for our hotel and our city. You're such a treasure. Thank you.
It was the impact that Mrs. Clayton played on me. Every Sunday night, I would get in front of that TV, and she would interview people like Ambassador Young and others in the civil rights movement and political leaders. And that was before I became an elected official. And then I told my wife one day, I said, I'd like to meet her. That was way before I really met her. Not knowing that she would be one of my best friends. You know, coming over to Atlanta and taking over the responsibility of being president and CEO of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was tough and still is. Because many times people said, SCLC and the civil rights movement is no longer needed. But Mrs. Clayton would inspire me. And she would say, you hang in there. You're doing a great job. I get calls from all over the country. And folks say, Xernona Clayton told me to call you because I should talk to you. And I just want to say to Miss Clayton this evening that it's because of you that my wife and I are very close. And it's because of you that instill love that you have that's conveyed to us that I'm able to go to Selma and march and keep on marching and go around the country to Cleveland, Ohio and fight for justice for people because we still need the civil rights movement. But it's because of you, Mrs. Clayton. It's because you called.
It has already been stated by Ambassador Young that I was sort of raised by Miss Clayton. And I remember probably around the age of 5 or 6 years old, being in the offices of SCLC. And Miss Clayton and her then husband, Ed Clayton, were there every day working. So Miss Clayton knew me, obviously, before I knew me. But there's no greater honor than what is being done today by this monument that will be here forever. But I also remember when Dad last went to Memphis. It was Miss Clayton, I believe, who took him to the airport. And also, after he was killed 55 years ago this year in April, she was one of the first ones to be at our home and by our sides for those 9 days. And then after we grieved for those periods of time. Now, you know, I always heard people say something calling her big. And as a kid, I heard the story that I know she has a sister, maybe at least one, and maybe her sister was called Lil and she was called Big, but I always thought, I was trying to figure out, what does that mean? And I came to the conclusion that it really was talking about her big ideas and ability to execute them. Because when you think about it, you know, it is said that a people that do not remember their history are doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. When you think about the concept of the Trumpet Awards, that forever should be etched in our minds to honor not just African American, but certainly African American excellence. Just think about the years that people have been honored. This was part of her vision and her execution alone. And then the fact that there are footprints, I believe at the Martin Luther King Jr. Visitor Center, the shoes of heroes and heroines. So this history is here for all of us. And it's so important right now when they're trying to X us out of history. I never thought we'd be living in a nation where the goal would be to eliminate African American history. What are we doing about it? Miss Clayton is leading us and has left us a blueprint. Dad and Mom taught us that it only takes a few good women and men to bring about change. We need to get engaged. This is the 60th year of the anniversary of the March on Washington. And we need to go back and quadruple our efforts because things are going in the wrong direction. But we, as a community, black and white, Native American, Latino, Hispanic American, an example that Miss Clayton has shown us, we can change all that. So I just wanted to come by and be here, be a part of this. I thank Miss Clayton for inviting me, and more than anything else, we all love you so much. But we will never be able to thank you for what you've done. That will be here forever. Thank you and God bless you.
I didn't know them. And they sat at my table in my conference room and said to me, we want to do something because we've been inspired by watching you and reading about you and knowing the many things you do for others, that somehow we need to take what you have been sharing, this is their language, and we want to preserve it at a point that you will live long after you're dead and gone. I couldn't believe it and didn't quite understand it at first. And they said, we've got money to back our wish. We want to build something. Because they said they checked with their 11-year-old son and said, do you know Xernona Clayton? And he said, no. He said, as long as we live, we don't want anybody who will not know about the name of Xernona Clayton. Well, tears uncontrollably ran down my face. I thought they were trying to kill me off, really. And they said, we've got money to back our wish. And that's how the statue became their wish, that I will live after I'm dead. And I said, first let me clarify one thing. I'm not going to die. I may leave, but I'm not going to be dead. Here are the two people now who exemplified Martin III, what Dr. King said. Dr. King said, I believe in my heart that one day we as blacks and whites will find a way to come together as a family of the universe. Here are members of my new family. They kick-started us project with funding from their own pockets and became this reality, which you'll see in just a moment. Both people were one Caucasian American and this beautiful woman who is, let me call it, Latino, I want to call the right adjective. They are my new family. And we have invited you here because you are our extended family. Blacks and whites together, because I insist all the time that that's the way I want to be in the environment of everybody, regardless of who they are and what their ethnicity is. So thank you too for kicking off this project, and for those you'll meet in a moment who had contributed significantly to this statue. Now.